So hello and good evening to all of you. So today we are going to discuss about some current affairs that were in news today. So if you are joining us for the first time, let me tell you this new initiative of HitBullsEye, in which we are going to discuss some important current affairs of that day. Because for the last so many months, we have been getting queries that students are not actually able to understand which news to cover and which ones to not. So this is an initiative in which we are going to tell you the most important news of the day, and this is your daily dose of current affairs, which we are going to provide to you every day. So if you haven't subscribed to the channel already, please do that and hit the bell icon so that you get the notifications whenever we post any video. Let us see what all important has happened today, that is on 26th of November 2021. So we'll be covering these 5 topics. First, we'll see that 26th of November is celebrated as the Indian Constitution Day 2021. All of us have studied civics till the 10th standard, at least. So we know what is a constitution. We have a president, we have a prime minister, which are always covering the news, of course. But do we know the significance of 26th November? Do sure we know the significance of 26th of January. We know that. Every day we see a parade that happens on the Rajpath in New Delhi. But what is the significance of 26th of November? And if it is a date associated with Constitution, why do we celebrate 26th of January instead as the Republic Day? That we will see. In the second news, 5th World Congress on Disaster Management has taken place, and Defense Minister Rajnath Singh has inaugurated that Congress. We'll see how disaster management is becoming increasingly important in a world that is facing extreme climate and weather events. Next up, Pradhan Mantri Garib Kalyan Ann Yojana, which was launched in the aftermath of COVID-19. So that, as the name suggests, it is a Prime Minister's scheme in which the poor people are being provided some extra food grains other than the one to which they are already entitled. So we'll see how it has been extended, why it has been extended, and till when has it been extended. In the fourth important news, we'll study some new schemes like Tejaswini, Hausla, and there is one more. So we'll study about these 3 schemes that today Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman has launched. And finally, a new Prime Minister has been appointed in the Middle Eastern country of Kuwait. So all these news we'll discuss today. Let's start with the first one. The National Constitution Day is celebrated on this day, 26th of November. So in the recent past, this day hasn't been bringing good memories to us. On this day in 2008, a deadly terrorist attack took place in Mumbai, in which 166 people lost their lives. But this day is also celebrated as as a cherishing commemoration of the Constitution of India, because it is on this day that the Constitution was adopted and enacted. Now, mind you, these words are really, really important. The Constitution was adopted and enacted on this date. That means it did not come into force on this day. Now, this date is important because it was on this date the Constitution got completed. It got written, and all the Constituent Assembly members appended their signatures on it. Now, the moot question is, if Constitution became complete on 26th of November 1949, why did we wait for 2 months? That is till 26th of January 1950 for it to come into effect. Why didn't we implement the Constitution straight away? Why don't we celebrate 26th of November as the Republic Day? That is a question. Now, the reason lies in history, in modern Indian history. Now, Indian freedom was not an overnight success. 2 centuries of brutal British rule was toppled by a lot of efforts on the part of freedom fighters. So in the freedom struggle, there were many inspirational acts that were done. Now, On 26th of January 1930, the freedom fighters celebrated the first Independence Day of India. Basically, in December 1929, at the Lahore session of Indian National Congress, it was resolved by the Indian National Congress that a month after now, that is on 26th of January 1930, we will celebrate our Independence Day. Of course, at that time, they didn't know that it will take another 17 years, of course. So they resolved to themselves that we will intensify our activities so much that in the next month, we will achieve Indian independence. So on 26th of January 1930, we will celebrate the Independence Day of India. Now, of course, that could not happen, but to commemorate the commitment of freedom fighters after independence was achieved, we chose 26th of January as the Republic Day of India. That's why, despite the completion of Constitution on 26th of November, we waited for 2 extra months till 26th of January 1950 to implement it, so that the day, if it could not be celebrated as an Independence Day, it could be celebrated as a Republic Day. Now, that was the reason. But that does not take away the importance of 26th of November. So that's why we have started celebrating it as the Constitution Day of India. And who is known as the father of the Constitution? Dr. B.R. Ambedkar. Now, there's a misconception that Dr. B.R. Ambedkar was the only person behind the making of the Constitution. He was the compiler of the Constitution. He was the chairman of the drafting committee, but it's not that he single-handedly made the entire Constitution. It is not so. It took the efforts of more than 300 constitution makers, the effort of so many committees that put in their effort and their mind behind it. Dr. B.R. Ambedkar was simply the chairperson of the drafting committee. And it was the beginning of constitutional democracy in India. And there's a fun fact. The reason why 26th of January is celebrated as Republic Day, I just told you. Can you tell me the reason why 15th of August is celebrated as the Independence Day of India? Like, was this date chosen deliberately, or was it just an accident, or was it just a coincidence? Now, just like Indians chose their own Republic Day, Independence Day was chosen by the British. The last Governor General of India, the last British Governor General of India was Lord Mountbatten. Now, Lord Mountbatten was a military commander. He was earlier a military commander. So in 1945, he was leading the Pacific forces in the Second World War against the Japanese. And it was on 15th of August 1945, 2 years before Indian independence, that the Japanese had surrendered to Lord Mountbatten. So Lord Mountbatten considered 15th of August as an auspicious date for himself and for the British. And that's why he deliberately chose 15th of August, because it was on that date Japanese had signed the surrender documents and USA had become the winner of the Second World War. To honor that date, he chose 15th of August as the Independence Day, just like we chose 26th of January as the Republic Day. Next up, 5th World Congress on Disaster Management was recently, today held, and it was inaugurated by Defense Minister Rajnath Singh. It is being held at IIT Delhi campus, which is the Indian Institute of Technology in Delhi, and it's being held for 3 days. Its theme is very important. That means, what is it that disaster management is focusing on right now? It is technology, finance, and capacity building for resilience to disasters in context of COVID-19. So basically, the 3 keywords you have to take away are technology, finance, and capacity building. That is all. In the next news, the Pradhan Mantri Garib Kalyan Ann Yojana, which was started in 2020, so mid 2020, the scheme was started initially for 4 months. The purpose of the scheme is to give 5 kilograms of free food grains. It could be wheat, it could be rice, which is over and above the existing entitlements given to 80 crore beneficiaries under the public distribution system. or under the Food Security Act, National Food Security Act. So 80 crore people, that is approximately 2/3 of Indian population, is entitled to free or subsidized food grains under the National Food Security Act. Now, whatever they were already getting, on top of that, 5 kg free food grains were additionally provided under the Pradhan Mantri Garib Kalyan Ann Yojana. So last year, it costed 26,000 crores to the government. And now under phase 5, it has been extended till March 2022. So that means the scheme will complete approximately 2 years, right? So the reason why the scheme is being extended is the government believes that the people are still reeling under the pressure of COVID-19 and its resultant lockdown. That's why the scheme gets extended every 3 or 4 months. And now the 5th phase of the scheme has also been extended for another 4 months till March 2022. Pradhan Mantri Garib Kalyan Ann Yojana. Next, Union Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman has launched 3 different schemes, especially for Jammu and Kashmir. Now, let me remind you that on 5th of August 2019, so it's been more than 2 years since Jammu and Kashmir's special status was abrogated, and it was bifurcated into the 2 union territories of Jammu and Kashmir and Ladakh. So today, Nirmala Sitharaman launched 3 different schemes. First scheme is Tejaswini, second is Hansla, and third is the Shikara scheme. So let's see all these 3 schemes one by one. Under the Tejaswini scheme, it is basically the credit score outreach program in Jammu. The purpose is to offer monetary help to as much as 5 lakh rupees to younger girls for establishing self-employment ventures. So this is money being given to young women entrepreneurs who can start self-employment activities. So it focuses on the women aged between 18 and 35 years who want to start their own business. They will be given credit, which is collateral free. So that is the Tejaswini scheme. Under the Hansla scheme, this is being started under the J&K Trade Promotion Organization. This is for the lady entrepreneurs who want to be role models in their respective sectors. It is for ability improvement and credit score assistance. Basically, both the schemes are targeted at young women in the valley who want to be self-employed and who want to lead businesses. The third scheme, Shikhar and Shikara. Under the Shikhar scheme, it is for meeting credit requirements up to 2 crore rupees for hotel, tour and tourism industry. This is basically for the hospitality sector. The Shikhar scheme, and the Shikara scheme is supplying finance for the acquisition of shikaras. Now, shikaras are those houseboats and those boats that are very famous in Srinagar and Kashmir. So this is for restoring and keeping of shikaras and houseboats so that they can be rejuvenated and that they can earn money on their own through tourism. It will provide credit up to 15 lakh rupees for purchase as well as repair of shikaras in the Kashmir Valley. The purpose of all the 3 schemes is first to promote entrepreneurship among women. Second, to promote credit disbursal. And third is to promote tourism in the valley. This is the purpose of all these 3 schemes, because after 2 years, the valley and Jammu is going to come out of the glut that has been caused by COVID-19. In the last news, Prime Minister has been appointed in the Kuwait. So Sheikh Sabah Al Khalid Al Hamad Al Sabah has been appointed as the new Prime Minister of Kuwait. If you find the name to be a bit too difficult, you do not need to remember it at all. You just need to have an idea so that if you get it in an MCQ based question, you should be able to comfortably take that. So he has many achievements up his sleeve. He has been Kuwait's ambassador to Saudi Arabia, and he has been an envoy at the Organization of Islamic Cooperation from 1995 to 1998. Also, he is the winner of Order of King Abdulaziz of First Class by Saudi Arabia. So he has been a winner of international awards, and he has formerly been a diplomat and an ambassador to other countries. So he has been appointed as the new Prime Minister of Kuwait. Now, fun fact, the capital of Kuwait is also Kuwait. So there are very few city-states in the world whose name is similar to the name of the country. For example, Singapore, Singapore City, Kuwait, Kuwait City, where there are very few countries in the world whose capitals are also named after the country. One such country is Kuwait, one of the heavyweights in the crude oil sector in the world. So that's been it for today. This is your dose of current affairs for 26th of November. If you liked the video, please subscribe to the channel and hit the bell icon so that you get the notifications of these videos every day as and when we post them. Also, HitBullsEye is an institute that has been catering to the needs of all the management and law-oriented students who want to make their careers in these fields. And for the last more than 2 decades, we have been mentoring lakhs of students into these career paths. So if you also want to be a part of the same, hit on the link in the description below and check out our courses. Thank you so much, and I'll see you in the next class. Good night and take care.